Hey, welcome back. So today we're going to go over the third main component that you'll use all the time in FLstudio, and that is the playlist. Let's get into it. So the first thing I'm going to do is try to get the channel rack, the playlist, and the mixer all in one screen. If possible, you kind of overlap it a little bit here. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to write a couple patterns here and put the two things together. So let me throw a basic drum beat together here. Yeah, that should do it. Bring that hat down, it's always too loud. Okay, that's a basic drum beat there. So I'm going to add a bass part here. Let's go ahead and go to start at pattern 5. I normally give myself 2 or 3 patterns for drum fills. So I'm going to use this bass called Sakura that has a pretty good sound. So this bass has a halfway decent placeholder bass called the Fender P. It sounds sort of like a Fender P, and I'm just going to write an 8th note part there. Okay, that's halfway decent. So now I'm going to put these two pieces together and hear what they sound like. So we're going to start with track 1, and I'm going to click on this little paintbrush here. So I already have pattern 1 in the drums selected. I'm going to go ahead and click on this and hold it down and then just drag it out until I get about 12 bars there. Okay, so I'm going to do this again with the bass part. So that is the other track, and just use the paintbrush to fill in the same number of spaces. This is a very handy feature for drums and stuff like that for a quick demo, which is what we're doing. Okay, so we're going to make sure we're on song mode up here in the corner so we can play both these tracks back, the whole playlist. And that's what it sounds like. So you can remove parts of these patterns if you want, like the drums there, by right-clicking, and then you can also left-click them back. So Click works with the paintbrush and the little pencil tool. And the pencil does one pattern at a time. So one of the things you probably noticed is that the drum pattern in pattern 1 is on track 3 now. I had to reassemble a bunch of the stuff from scratch because I had a problem with the file. That's why it looks like that. Also, you can move the pattern start points to much smaller increments than just on the measure. So if you zoom in, you'll see there's 16 marks there. You can move the pattern anywhere along those steps. So if you want things to start at 1 or a little further out, you can move stuff around a lot. So you can make longer beats than just the 4 count. I'm going to go ahead and make a piano part here. So this is pretty much in C, so I'm going to just try to write something. I have to go switch it over to the piano roll, which is right here. Okay, let's see what we got here. I'm going to start with that range right there. Okay, write a note right about here, and right about there, and lower octave. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this little square, and that's going to allow me to select multiple notes. So now when I select that little square, I can highlight all 3 notes and then adjust the length to all 3 at the same time. So I'm going to make sure I'm selected, and then I'm going to go ahead and go edit and copy this. And I just move this over a little bit and hit paste. And that's not in the right spot, but because the second chord is still selected, I can go and drag it all the way to where I think it's supposed to go. So I think it goes there. I'm not sure. Let's listen to it. So I think we're getting closer. Yeah, may need to move it a little bit. Kind of want to put a 3rd chord on there. Okay, so we're going to zoom out and move this over a little bit and then just paste the 3rd chord. And then I got to figure out where it's going to go. Let's move that over there. That's much better. Okay, let's write this fourth chord here. Different variation on C. You can move the stuff independently. I don't sweat it that much though. Let me put together a couple more chords here. I'm doing this without a keyboard controller. Okay, let's plug this into the song. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and choose that and drag it down to the second measure there. That sounds like something. You can also add another pattern later on in a different spot. Right here. Or put it all back. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add 3 of these chords in the same spot. And now that we've got everything kind of put together, you want to bounce this down to a WAV file that you can use anywhere else. Streaming or whatever. We're going to go to File, we're going to go to Export, and we're going to go to WAV file. So next we got to navigate to where we're going to save this, and that is right around here. Gonna have to rename it here. All right. So then you get this window here, and what you want to pay attention to is up here there's leave remainder and cut remainder. You want to set it to cut remainder if you want to make this a repeating loop. Leave remainder is used if you have a finished product and it's got effects that will continue after the last pattern. So that's what you want to use that for. Hopefully that's enough to get you started making beats and cues. Next time we're going to get into effects and how you can use external VSTs as well. As always, if you need to contact me, you can reach me at studioonaBudget@gmail.com. We'll see you next time. Thanks.